You're on the air with Florenza, your podcast destination for authentic conversations with a twist. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and join me on this unique literary journey. Cheers!
Today on the air with Florenza, we're diving into the deliciously twisted world of words, wit, and whodunits with none other than E.C. Nevin. Buckle up as we unpack the literary layers of a novel murder. A razor-sharp debut where fiction and reality collide, and the pen might just be deadlier than the sword. Please put your hands together and welcome EC to the show. Thank you so much, Eve, for joining me on this episode of On the Air with Florenza, where in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about your amazing mystery novel, A Novel Murder. And I love that cover. It's kind of like a throwback.
Thank you. Yeah.
To some really cool days of murder mystery. But before we get started, as is my tradition, we're going to toast to an amazing show. And I have a little, oof, that smells so good. If you're not familiar with brandy, I think it's a brandy, it might be a whiskey. I don't know, it's brown and good by a young lady, but she calls it Uncle Nearest. So if you're not familiar with Uncle Nearest, let me tell you, get you a bottle. It'll be your best friend.
I'm going to check that out. If I knew you were on the brandy, I might have cracked out something stronger.
What do you have with you?
I have a little glass of red wine, some Primitivo.
Ooh,
It's not really the weather for it. It's really hot here, but it was open and it's the end of the day here, so
nice. I love that glass.
I was given this yesterday. So I've just got married. So my friend gave me this as a wedding present, and they're like 1920s glasses that she found on holiday. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Oh, that's so old.
After this podcast, I'm going to look up what you're drinking and order myself a bottle because that's the reaction I want.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Oh,
And my antique little sniffer that I got, and I think I got these in
gorgeous.
East Berlin before the wall came down.
Oh, wow.
Yes, a whole set, and this is hand etched, I believe. And
I love that.
go, thank you.
I love old glasses. I'm obsessed with them. I collect them, but I do also smash quite a lot of stuff. I'm quite clumsy, so I kind of think I shouldn't be allowed to have them, but I love them so much. It's just I've just accepted it. It's part of life. I just have to keep buying.
Before you gave that little alibi, I was thinking I would box up because my daughters are not interested in any of my antiques. I would have boxed you up a
Oh,
gorgeous set to send to you for like a wedding gift, and we still may chat offline. And look, if you smash them, they'll do you just as good as they would do my daughters who don't want them. So
I try and keep the really good stuff away from guests. Things get smashed when I have a party, and then all my glasses I just see them like tragically falling like soldiers all over. But
do you have any Greek in you to where y'all just smashing it going, Opa?
I wish I had that excuse.
So, Eve, tell us a little bit about yourself and about this delicious murder mystery.
Okay, so a bit about me. My name is Eve. I used to work in the publishing industry for a long time. My last sort of real job was editorial director for crime and thriller at a publisher called Hodder and Stoughton, who's part of Hachette. So I learned a lot about crime fiction. I read a lot of crime books, all sorts. But secretly, I always wanted to be on the other side. I wanted to be a writer. So
Oh,
I quit and I went freelance and then gave myself some more time and then started writing. And now I just get the absolute privilege of being an author, which is great because I know all the other people on the other side as well, which is kind of weird. Like my editor is someone I used to work with. It's very strange. But so that's me. And my book, A Novel
yes.
Murder.
Yes.
Oh, I've got this is the UK cover. This is the US cover.
Ooh. I'm kind of digging
Um,
both.
yeah, they're cool, right? This one looks like a tattoo. Like I should get
It
that.
really does.
I'm too scared to get
Oh
that
yeah, I
tattooed
am
on my body.
tatted, man. We are,
Oh,
yes, usually they're hanging out like, badges of honor, but
you have to get it for me. Um, yes, so this is my book, A Novel Murder, and it's a cozy crime novel set in the world of books, basically. And it's the first in a series. This one's set at a crime fiction festival. So if you've been to one of these things, they're really fun. They're like 3-day events where everyone just drinks too much and gossips and talks about books and authors speak on panels and all of that. So it's set there, and our main character is called Jane Hepburn, and she's this struggling novelist who, like, she's written a detective series, but no one cares and no one reads it. And she's there partly to track down her editor and agent who are all ignoring her calls. But she goes there, and then on the first night, she creeps into the book selling tent to rearrange the shelves because her book is always in like the top back corner, and she wants it to be on the table at the front because it's much nicer. So she sneaks into the tent and she finds the body of her literary agent lying on the floor with a dagger in the chest. So Jane
Ooh,
decides to solve the crime of who murdered her literary agent during, before the festival has ended. So,
nice.
look.
Now, let's talk about being on the other side of the literary world. Girl, this is like having insider trader knowledge. Like, oh my God, how crazy is that?
Yeah, I learned so much from working in the industry of like of how to write, of how to structure books and what commissioning editors look for and what works. So I definitely had like a leg up in that regard. I just learned so much. And I had to read so much. Part of being a writer is reading as
Yeah.
much as you possibly can. And I had the privilege of that being part of my job was to read crime fiction. So I just got such a massive education in it. And then I also just got to write about the industry. Like well, some people who like books are often interested in the world of
Yes.
books, like what goes on behind it all. So that was also great that I just got to showcase that a bit and vent some frustrations as well.
Now, being privy to like behind the scene information could go one or two ways, right? It could really give you that sense of, I got this. Like, come on now, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it. Or give you what some have termed imposter syndrome, and that you have read so many books and you have been the editor to send back, a script that looks like a crime scene, right? And you're like, freaking F, go back to your day job. What the hell? I write better than this when I'm drunk. Did you have those moments when you were writing that you just kind of, were stricken with fear and think, whoa, what if? Like, what if now
Yeah,
I,
I hated everything I was writing. I was writing like, this is rubbish, this is rubbish. But and when my agent said it was good, and I was like, sure, you liar. But when she sent it out to publishers to see if anybody wanted to buy it, I insisted it was under a fake name
yeah,
because I was like, these people know who I am, and I didn't want them to read something which is so bad.
yeah.
Um,
You're not
so
going to tarnish my name.
yeah, I hated the idea of people emailing each other saying like, oh my God, do you know, have you heard what Eve has written? It's absolute like trash. So it was under a fake name. And then people liked it. And then then it was exciting to tell them that it
It's
was me.
me.
But yeah, I think imposter syndrome can be really good for you though. It
Yeah,
makes you try harder.
yeah.
Sometimes you read things people have written and they definitely don't have imposter syndrome.
They
They've written
don't.
something and they're like, I am fantastic. And they should have looked harder. But yeah, I think it makes me try harder
Uh-huh.
because I never think things are really good enough. I think, like you say, I've worked with really great writers
Yeah.
and yeah, that definitely gives me a high standard,
Yeah.
hopefully, of what
Oh
I'm aiming
man,
for.
that is so good. So, in a novel murder, the title implies the book itself might be guilty. If your book were on trial, what would its defense be?
What would its defense be? It would say, my judgment was impaired because I'd had too many drinks at the book festival, but I'm really a good person deep down. I'm a good book. I don't always act in the right way.
Yeah, I in the back of my mind, I'm hearing blame it on
Yeah.
alcohol. Love that. What's something your main character knows that you wish you did?
Oh, wow. Okay. She knows how to get secrets out of people, which I don't think I'm that good at. I
Yeah.
think I'm too blunt. She kind of works her way in there. She's kind. She makes people trust her, and she get wheedles the secrets out. Whereas I would love to be a detective, and I would be the worst detective in the world. So that's why instead I'm writing about others doing it. So yeah, she's better at that than I would ever be.
Would you just choke them out?
Tell me, like, did you do it? And they'd be like, no, and I'd be like, oh, okay. I'm really gullible. I'll believe anything. So if someone tells me a story, I'd be like, oh, wow. Oh, you couldn't have done it then because you were obviously helping those orphans over the road. Oh, sorry. So yeah, it wouldn't be the job for me.
I love that. If your plotting process were a crime scene, what clues would the detectives find, such as coffee stains, color-coded post-its, outlines? What would they find?
Well, it depends where I was in the process. If we're near the start, they would probably rarely find anything because when I think I've got loads of time, I'm just out having a walk. I don't need to work today. It's fine. If it's near the end, they would find loads of McDonald's wrappers, some empty cans of gin and tonic, and probably one sobbing woman.
You're a procrastinator?
Oh, absolutely. I try everything. I've started writing whilst walking on a treadmill
Uh-huh.
recently because it's it's hard to do too many things at once. Your brain can't handle it. So if you're walking,
Yeah.
it's harder to procrastinate. So I'm trying,
Uh-huh.
but it's inbuilt. I mess around.
Listen, I can't even lie. I sometimes get there too. And then at the very end, I just start going in like life itself depends on it. So,
Absolutely.
what was the last lie you told yourself while writing this book?
The last lie I told myself while writing the book, probably I'm sure this will all make sense when I get to the end. Uh, and then you write stuff and you're just like, I'm sure that will work out. And then it doesn't, and you have to go back and completely redraft things that you earlier just thought would be fine.
That's a good answer. If your book had a secret Spotify playlist only your characters knew about, what one song would be on it and who would have added it?
That is such a hard question. Uh, I'm going to say Dancing in the Moonlight
Oh,
and the protagonist's friend Daniel, who's the literary agency intern, will have
uh-huh.
added that because he is a happy soul, he's a night owl, and he just wants to be out there dancing and being happy.
Oh, that's such a great answer. I love that. Say your next murder mystery is set in a literary convention. Which famous author, living or dead, would you most want to kill off for plot purposes, of course? Who are we going to kill, girlfriend?
Okay, this is just for plot purposes because in real life, she's my favorite author. But I would kill off Donna Tartt, um,
Okay. And why are we
who,
killing her?
well, because she never writes the damn book. Like, she wrote The Secret History. It took her 10 years to write the next one, 10 years to write the next one, 10 years have passed. She's not written another one. So that's a good motive. And also, she's too clever. She's too good at plotting. She's too good at stuff. She shows people up. So I think, yeah, she'd be on the chopping block.
Off with your head.
Absolutely.
For plot purposes only, of course.
Yeah, of course. I do still want her next book.
In one sentence, tell me how a novel murder would pitch itself to Netflix. Bonus points if you name drop other movies or other shows.
I would say perfect for fans of Only Murders in the Building.
Ooh.
A novel murder is a cozy crime story set in a literary festival where there are books, secrets, murder, and too much wine.
Ooh. Bravo. Now, have you thought of that or that just came to you?
No, that just came to me. You put me on the spot there.
That was good. See, that's
Thank
the
you.
key to your procrastination. Put your butt on the spot.
Oh, I've always need to be under pressure to do anything.
And our last question for this segment. Your villain has just hacked into your laptop. What's the first file they'd open, and would they be impressed, scared, or disappointed?
It would probably be book two, version six, and they would be disappointed in the progress
they
and
like
probably scared.
they sit having a drink, waiting for you to come in and say, "Girl, we need to talk about this."
It's fun because if they have like a gun to my head, they are a villain, then I would be under pressure and I would just bash that out.
Get it done. Get it done. When you were sharing with your friends and family that you really were going to dive into authorship, right? What was the response that you got? And what was the most, without telling who, because then I'm going to have to take off my hoops and go get them for you. What was the most disappointing, or let's give you two options, thrilling response that you got?
I didn't tell many people until I got a book deal.
Good for you.
I just, people are often downers,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
People are pessimistic, and especially when you're doing something like writing a book, I think it's really easy to get in your head and be like, oh, maybe it's not a good idea.
Yeah,
So I just think it's best not to tell people what's going on until you've got something good to say. But
yeah.
I told my partner and I told my mum and dad, and they were all super positive. They were like, yeah, you go for it. I
Nice.
didn't really have any. I definitely would have got negative responses if I told people. I think people would have said, how are you going to afford to do that? Where
Yeah.
that won't sell. Are you sure? But yeah, I kind of kept it to myself.
Do you feel that one of the reasons why we get such negative responses like that is because secretly those individuals really want to do it as well, and they project onto you all of the reasons why they don't, and that
Yeah.
they hope for your failure to justify theirs?
Ooh, I like it catty.
I
Um,
am.
I think if you speak to people who follow their dreams, that sounds a bit
Yeah, no.
like posterish, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
But if you speak to other people who kind of go for stuff and really try, even if they haven't yet succeeded, they're positive and
Yeah,
they are like, great, go get it. Even if they're more practical and say
yeah,
like, how are you managing to do it? Let's talk about how you're going to do it. Those people they go for it. But a lot of people know they wouldn't go for it themselves.
yeah,
And so they immediately look for the negative in why you shouldn't do something. So yeah, I think partly it is that people aren't brave enough.
yeah. And if you succeed, then it it removes their reasons for not trying, right?
Yeah.
Like, because, or then they'll say, oh, well, it's Eve. She has all that backdoor knowledge. Like, of course her book's successful. Of course she got a movie deal. I mean, after all, it's not like she's that talented. She just used what she learned from all those years of doing what you did.
Of course. And I look, I do that too. I am very much not perfect. When I see people on social media who, are more successful than me, I'm like, oh, well, that's because they've never had fun. That's because they've got this, and this advantage. And you have to kind of stop yourself and be like, whoa, you're just being jealous and mean.
Yeah,
Like
back it
they've made their
up.
choices and that's why they are where they are and good for
Yes.
them.
What's next for you? You did say that you're working on another book. Let
I
me ask
am.
now, before you answer that, did you give yourself enough time to celebrate the success of a novel murder?
Yeah, I know how to celebrate. I take any excuse for a celebration. So
Cheers.
every step of the way, I have managed to celebrate. Yeah, getting an agent, celebrate, getting a any interest, celebrate, getting a book deal, finishing the book, finishing the next draft of the book. There's moments you got to take. There's
Yeah,
also a lot of really hard bits about being a
yeah,
writer. So I think anything that you can celebrate, you absolutely
yeah,
should.
yeah. And tell us about the next book that you're working on, or can you tell?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No one told me I can't. So the next book it's follows the same main character, Jane. It's called A Killer Plot.
Ooh,
And Jane is in London celebrating at the book launch of her friend she makes in the first book, Natasha. So they're in London, they're celebrating, and surprise, surprise, someone finds a body.
of
So
course.
yeah, so it's still very book world set. Obviously, London's the heart of the UK book scene. So we meet all sorts of new characters. Some of the old ones are there as well, and they're trying to solve a murder mystery in the big city.
Oh, I do hope that this series catches the attention of someone in the TV industry. This would be such a great, I love Murder She Wrote, and the shows that are similar to that. And I really love the characters in here. And I just hope that they catch the eye of someone to make this a TV series because that would be so much fun.
It would be so fun. It's just it, I got a TV and film agent really recently, and they just sent it out. Although I got really excited, and she was like, "You can be excited. However, it's very, very hard to get things onto the screen, and if they do want it, it might be there in like 10 years' time." So I have to restrain my excitement. But
Yes,
if it did get onto the screen, I would be demanding some sort of bit part.
of
I
course.
want to be there.
Honey, just let me walk by the camera.
Yeah, and just for that, look really overdressed in the background.
Let's get this done. Where are the listeners able to engage with you and to follow you and learn all things Eve?
Where are they able to find me?
Uh-huh.
I'm on Twitter, X,
Uh-huh.
um, and Instagram, and my handle is at Evil Eve Hall. That's my real name. And I'm now on TikTok, but I'm just getting my head around TikTok. And there
Yeah.
I'm Eve writes books.
Wonderful. And I'll make sure that I have that in the comments as well. So we've
Thank
come
you.
to the part of our show that I call Last Call, and it is simply three rapid fire questions for you. I have some would you rather. So we're going to take a sip. Mhm. Oh, that is so good. Okay. Would you rather have dinner with your protagonist or your antagonist?
Antagonist.
Yeah, where would you
Villains are
go?
always more fun.
Where would you go?
Where would I go?
You have a favorite spot that you just like to show them off?
Um, there's a restaurant near me which has recently opened called Ragu, and it's like fancy Italian small plates, great wine. you can sit, it's got a view. I'd take them there. We would get a bottle or two of Prosecco, we'd get all the dishes, and then I'd get them to tell me their like deep, dark, murderous secrets.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That could be another book too. That's good. Would you rather write a mystery with no murder or a romance with no love story? Is that possible?
I don't know if that's possible. Um, I would a romance with no love story. I'd like to
Yeah,
try and write a rom-com at some point, and but I find writing romance difficult. So maybe that's what I'll come up with.
yeah. And although I am a sensual person, I am not a romantic person, right? So I
Yeah.
don't do the romance very well, but let something die, I am all in, right? Like I am all in. So in our last one, would you rather outline everything first or dive in blind and pray for a plot?
100% dive in blind and pray for a plot. I I have tried plotting things out. It never works. I get
Mhm.
like on the second chapter and everything I planned, it's not going to make sense because once the characters exist,
Yeah,
they don't want to follow the plan.
yeah,
So, yeah, dive in, see what happens, and then have to go back and rewrite everything 1,000 times.
1,000.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this as we're ending. Are you the type of person that your characters just keep you up at night, speak to you, try to peek in the shower while you're showering, going, hey, girl, we need to talk? Like, do they, or are they respectable? Do they wait for you to set up the time and the space that you will have your intimate moments?
I get irritatingly, they're kind of both. They're either there or they're completely silent.
Oh,
And that's when things aren't great. So I'm like, oh right, I'm ready to write now. Like, guys. And they're nowhere to be seen. But then yeah, then other times they're just coming at me at all angles.
nice. Well, Eve, this has been so much fun. Please consider me for your interview rounds when your next book is out.
Totally. This has been great fun. Let's get to sit here and have a chat and a glass of wine. What a lovely thing to do.
A lovely thing to do.
And this wraps up another episode of On the Air with Florenza. You may follow me on all social media platforms under Florenza Lee or via my website at florenza.org. Until next time, cheers.